When you're strapped to a cot and about to pass away, you might think of saying something kind or thought-provoking, or even offering your condolences to the victim's family, to the person you're about to lose your life force to. But you might not be in the mood to make a heartfelt speech if you were a helpless person about to have a deadly cocktail injected into your veins. You could also be a psychopath who wants to utter your monstrous voice one last time and is heartless and cold-blooded. However, this is not the case for these prison inmates. So here is a list of the top 10 most scariest last sentences from prison inmates. Starting from number 10, Peter Kürten. Your ignorance of Peter Kürten is our wager. At the time, there were a few serial killers in Germany. He was one of them in the early 20th century. He committed heinous deeds with their corpses and killed at least 9 people. He also consumed the blood of his victims, which is another factor in the nickname the Vampire of Düsseldorf that has been given to him. The moment before he was executed by the guillotine in 1931, he turned to a psychiatrist and said, "Tell me, after my head has been chopped off, will I still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from the stump of my neck? That would be the pleasure to end all pleasures." The psychiatrist responded, "No," just before the blade fell. Number 9. Thomas J. Grasso. The execution of Thomas J. Grasso, who had been found guilty of killing 2 elderly women, may have been the strangest last words we've ever heard. In 1995, he received a lethal injection in the state of Oklahoma. Before he passed away, he wrote a brief poem that contained the following lines: "The warden will read my last creed, and the deadly brew will flow, as the poison drips into my veins, and from my body life does drain." However, his final remarks came in the form of a very pragmatic complaint. He must have been trying to be funny. These were the words: "I did not get my SpaghettiOs. I got spaghetti. I want the press to know this." Number 8. Richard Aaron Cobb. In Texas, Richard Aaron Cobb was put to death by lethal injection in 2013. He committed the crime by approaching a convenience store with a companion and robbing it. However, it went further than that. 2 female workers and 1 male customer were coerced into getting into a car. They drove away believing they had all been killed after taking them to a remote location and executing them by shooting them. However, only the man lost his life. His very strange final words had a nihilistic tone to them. Finally, he made a very unexpected statement: "I hope that someday this absurdity that humanity has come to will come to an end." And then, moments later, just as he was about to die, "Wow, this is great. Thank you, Warden." Number 7. Eileen Wuornos. You may have seen a Hollywood film called Monster where Eileen Wuornos is portrayed. 6 of her male customers were killed while she was working as a body seller on the streets. In court, the defense she had offered didn't hold up, despite what she had said. Today, she is regarded as one of the worst female serial killers in American history. In the days leading up to her execution in 2002, she made a promise to resurrect herself. She said, "I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock. And I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th. Like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back." Number 6. James French. In the United States in the late 1950s and early 1960s, James French killed 2 people. He shared a cell with one of them. There was a little chemistry between the 2. He actually said there's nothing else to say as he was placed in the electric chair. But this was the last thing he told a reporter. "If I were covering my execution, do you know what I'd say in the newspaper headline tomorrow?" The reporter said, "What?" He answered, "French fries." Yeah, that was pretty funny. Number 5. Robert Charles Comer. The same could be said of Robert Charles Comer. He was either mentally on another planet or had a twisted sense of humor, to put it bluntly. He killed a man in 1987, but he had also been involved in some other serious crimes over the course of his life. He responded, "Go Raiders," when asked if he had anything to say. Raiders is a football team from the United States. You might infer from such a statement that he had little regard for his victim's life or himself. Number 4. Jeffrey Matthews. During a robbery, Jeffrey Matthews shot and killed his uncle. As a result, he was put to death in Oklahoma in 2011. His closing remarks aren't particularly ominous, but they are perhaps a little shocking for his dark sense of humor. He spoke a few times, but these were his final words. "I think that the governor's phone is broken. He hasn't called yet." Number 3. Robert Alton Harris. For numerous murders, Robert Alton Harris was put to death in California in 1992. Despite the fact that his killing of 2 boys earned him the gas chamber, he had a long criminal history and was a career criminal. You can read his story to see how heartless he was, but we won't get into that right now. You can be a king or a street sweeper, but everyone dances with the Grim Reaper. He finally said in poetic fashion as his last words. Well, he is correct in that regard. Number 2. Tory Twain McNabb. 2017 saw the Alabama state administer a lethal injection to Tory Twain McNabb. For killing a police officer, he had received a conviction. By arguing that the punishment was harsh and customary, he and his attorneys attempted to block it from passing, but they were unsuccessful. He was furious as he approached the gurney and raised 2 middle fingers in the air with both hands. Then he added, "Mom, sis, look at my eyes. I got no tears. I am unafraid. To the state of Alabama, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you." And finally, at number 1, we have Vincent Gutierrez. In Texas, Vincent Gutierrez was put to death in 2007 after being found responsible for the murder of a man. The man was being shot by Gutierrez, who had been attempting to steal his car. When it occurred, he was under the age of 18. He spoke briefly as his parting words and expressed regret for what he had done. But he ended by adding, "Where's my stunt double when you need one?" So that's the end of the video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and press the notification bell so you never miss out on our next videos. Until the next video, take care.